Well, hello there. In this episode, I ride my bike out to two ancient villages near Yangshuo. My intention, before even arriving in China, was to take black and white pictures of ancient towns and villages, and by that, I mean full high contrast black and white. I've always loved this style, even though, as a 12-year-old, I was taught to balance the light for a correct exposure. Here's my very first image under my brother's instruction using his old Pentax S1A. Later, as a 17-year-old with access to the school's darkroom, I experimented with high contrast images, and I loved them, even if others did not. I ended up, though, following the crowd and took, well, boring images after that. But now, fast forward 40 years, and my camera can switch from stunning colour to black and white at the push of a button. For the first time, I can see in black and white before I even take the shot. Slowly, black and white is taking over, and maybe the 17-year-old within me is finally getting to take the pictures he always wanted. Here I am arriving on my little bike. I purchase a cold drink and I go off to try and cool down after a hot bike ride. Hello, and as you probably saw, I hired a bike and I have come out to an ancient village which I will not even try to pronounce, and I'm going to write it down here, and I'll even show you on the map where it is. But the area I've come to at the moment, I wouldn't like to have come here by car, to be perfectly honest. Very, very narrow streets, basically into the village at least. But when you get here, it is absolutely stunning. So I'm glad I brought the bike. And I'm going to turn this round. It's right into the sun. I'm going to adjust the... Wait a minute. I'm going to adjust the filter slightly. And this is basically the new village here, in this valley of karst peaks. And we've got rice, which is just turning yellow, looking really nice. I want to get some nice photographs with that. And then one large peak leading into a few more. I'm just going to angle up a little bit. Oh, not too much. That. And then we're into the old village, the ancient village that I'm going to be visiting just now. If this thing will turn round. Come on. And that's where we're going to be. So I'm going to be going into here soon, take some pictures, hopefully be able to vlog at the same time. This light is not very flattering. I was just trying to take some selfies with me in the background. Well, so me with this background, and it comes out absolutely dreadful. But I managed to get a nice little portrait picture of myself with the phone. So anyway, I'm going to get back underneath this umbrella, because it is absolutely roasting. It's supposed to get to about 32 degrees today. No chance of rain, so I didn't bring a brolly, which is probably sensible. But I could probably do with it for shade. Right, moving on to the village. After my break, I was ushered into a large, open building by an elderly man. Clearly the starting point for tours. Inside, shafts of sunlight cut through the darkness, and I took my first image of a supporting column. This was a place of worship. I shot the altar in colour to capture the vivid reds, but elsewhere black and white seemed to be the best. Upstairs, lanterns hung from the balcony. Again, I worked in colour, but I also had a shot in black and white. Passing under a low door frame with chalk markings, probably saying storeroom, I found tables and chairs stacked, waiting for the next community event. Another snap at a column, this time from above. Next I found myself entering the hotel, seeking yet another cold drink. Get a cold one. A cold fruit juice. But this is what I'm in just now. Here I ended up chatting with a couple of ladies from my hometown, who kindly let me join them for our much needed cold drinks. Their guide sat us at a table with paper, ink and a brush, and soon we were learning about Chinese characters, the meaning and the sound behind each stroke. It was clear that this was all prepared for visiting groups. I didn't overstay my welcome. I bid farewell and moved off with my camera. I explored around the areas nearby and found a tea room. I was quite keen to try some of the tea. I mean, I'd never had proper Chinese tea in that setting, but nobody was willing to serve. I obviously wasn't the group that they were expecting. They were more interested in the little boy that had been brought out. I took a picture, with consent of course. Almost got his mother in the whole image, was concentrating more on the wee boy. But in the background, Grandma is keeping an eye on things and making sure everything's okay. Afterwards, I wandered the back alleys where the light demanded high contrast images. I was nearly taken out by a man in a scooter coming round a corner. I kept shooting. The alleys and houses just looked fantastic in black and white. I explored courtyards and buildings, marvelling at the ornate architecture. So what I'm wanting to catch just now is the lovely bit of roof work just here, and this lamp here, and the bright patches. That's in a nice bit of brightness there. We've got the wall here, and that's kind of silhouetted, but it's bright enough. And I want to do a very, very contrasty black and white. So I'll show you what I'm doing and talk you through it. To get the 2 points in focus, i.e. the lamp and the rooftop, I want to have it at a higher f number, as in a smaller aperture, and that means taking it up to f8, f11. For landscape we use f11 because that gives you almost everything in focus. For this I don't need everything in focus, I just need an item there which is about 4 or 5 meters away, and another item which is about 8 to 10 meters away. And we're just about to lose the sun, but I'm going to focus on the lamp, and it's saying it's overexposed, but it's 1/2000th of a second at f8. See how that came out. Check the focus is good, that looks good. And I'm happy with that. What I've got is quite a dark area, but the sky is actually looking good. I can see the cloud in the sky. The roof work is generally silhouetted with a little bit of detail showing, and then you've got the lamp as well. And I can pull back and have some of that brickwork showing as well. And I'll just take that. And what I wanted to do is try and make sure that the lamp looks like it's vertical, it's hanging properly, and I don't really mind about all the others. So let's just hold that there. And I got some brickwork in. And then I check exactly what I've got. Now, it gets very difficult to see the screen. It's out at this moment in time, it's easy to see the screen, but outside it's so bright, it's better to look on the inside. Remember, press the button to zoom in, and I look at the lamp. I can see every detail in the lamp. It's lovely. Go to the roof work, and that's looking good as well. Maybe very slightly out compared to the lamp. So with that case, I can move my point of focus to between the two and see if I can get them both more in focus. Roof okay. Just to be sure, I'm going to go for this f11. Just to be absolutely sure, I should be able to get this. Maybe f10. We'll go for f10. So it's exposing for the bright parts, and saying it's overexposed. So it's saying it's overexposed because it wants to get the detail in the shadow, and I don't want detail in the shadow. I want a very punchy black and white, contrast the image. I don't want to see the detail that's in the picture at the same time. That's the style I'm going for here. Here's some of the images I've done so far, and I'll catch up with you shortly. I continue to wander, capturing details in the decoration. Some carved, some added. I switched between black and white and colour, depending on what suited the scene. So for outside photography, it's a bit bright. It's about 3 o'clock now and it's still really, really bright. And it's too damn hot. And for landscape, I think it's a bit off. You're not really going to get anything decent here at all. But if I decided to do a sort of James Puppis style of almost things being almost bleached out, it's a good style, I quite like it. I could probably get away with that. Anyway, I'm heading back to the bike and I'm going to find somewhere else. But I might take a couple of pictures as I get there. The view from the village over the yellow rice fields was stunning. In this image I include a sign for context and interest. Looking back at the buildings, they were almost too bright to photograph well, and as I mentioned, more of a James Puppis style was expected here. I took a shot of a bike passing by, not quite James's style, as I actually managed to expose for the sky quite well. Zhouxian was a well-kept, small walled village, focused on tourists, but not over-commercialised. If Zhouxian was my yin, then Langxi was the opposite, the yang. Instead of following Google Maps, I followed the hotel's directions, ignoring the main road that Google wanted to take me on. And I went down an old road, through a town, and through amazing scenery. Out and about on the bike, taking a few photographs. These roads are a bit bumpy. It's just concrete, kind of flat. Not the best for videoing from a mount like this. But you get the idea. And I'm heading to an old village, but I've stopped to take pictures of the scenery on the way. After a detour to the Butterfly Hill shown last week, I then did let Google guide me to Langxi, but it led me a kilometre past the village. It stopped me in the middle of a hilly countryside with nothing there. I doubled back. I'd seen the village earlier and thought to myself, oh, that looks like the pictures of Langxi. Well, that's because it was Langxi. When I arrived, I barely had time to take the keys out of the ignition before a young woman with physical disabilities gestured for me to follow her. I expected a ticket kiosk, but there was none. Before I knew it, I was climbing a tower 5 flights up. The view was good, but some floorboards looked ready to give way, and I was glad she brought me back down again quickly. I tried to explain I just wanted to wander and take photos, but my guide stuck with me. Another woman appeared, and with help from my translator, I ended up paying 80 yuan, split between them. Then I was led to her house, which had a wonderful open courtyard with amazing wooden carvings. I asked the age and was told 300 years old. There were no kiosks, no tourist stalls, no cafes or hotels, just a lived-in, ancient walled village. It had electricity and running water, but maintenance was lacking. The people clearly couldn't afford repairs, and the local authority didn't seem to be willing to help. Because I was ushered away from my bike quite quickly, I was only carrying a basic camera kit, and there was no real time to try and film anything with the main camera. My guides wanted me through quickly, but the older woman eventually did let me explore on my own a little when she saw how long I was taking with my photos. I captured her as she hurried across the courtyard to gossip with a neighbour. In the past, I had disregarded this image for motion blur, but now I see it as artistic. Afterwards, I was handed back to the younger woman. She had cerebral palsy and was effectively mute. She showed me old family photographs, her grandfather, her father, and one with her as a child. The picture looked old, but she hardly seemed any younger, just a different hairstyle. I got the impression she was alone now. She showed me the church, or temple, though we couldn't enter. The cobbled streets with weeds growing at the sides made for great images. I wish I'd had time for a tripod and focus stacking. F11 will have to do. The buildings are old, with distinct architecture, brick built with intricate carved wooden doors. The girl showed me how they block off the open grille with a sliding panel from below, held in place by a little wooden rod. I hope my photographs capture the feeling I got from this place. I left glad that I came, but a little down knowing that these people live in poverty. The whole ancient village is occupied, but it looks derelict. It hasn't been commercialised. There's no official entry or set payment. I still don't even know how it ended up on Google Maps. Thank you for joining me on this journey through China's ancient villages, contrasts in both photography and life. If you enjoyed the episode, please like, subscribe, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you, and remember, images are for all.